When we left you, we had just crossed the Barton Aqueduct on the outskirts of Manchester, so we picked this video up on our way to Worsley. If you notice and are wondering about the colour of the canal at this point, it is the dissolved iron ore from the mining that is part of the history of this area. Morning, folks. It's 10 to 7 in the morning. We don't normally set off this early, but there are a couple of reasons today. Firstly, it's going to be another warm one. It's supposed to get to 27 today, and I know for our Australian friends that doesn't seem very hot, but when you're in a large metal tube without much shade, it certainly can be. But the thing that really got us out of bed this morning is somebody banging on the roof of our boat at 6 o'clock, a cyclist, because he'd seen a deer in the canal. The deer had fallen in and wasn't able to get out, and he wanted some help. In the end, there was really nothing we could do. The Bridgewater's a pretty deep canal, so we weren't getting in there to be able to help it. We tried to usher it to a shallower bank so that it could get out, but in the end just had to leave it and hope that it would find somewhere, as I think we were scaring it a bit as well. So after that we were up and we thought we may as well get going. So we are just leaving Astley Bridge, which was a gorgeous little mooring just outside Manchester, and we are only heading a couple of hours today, stopping off to get some supplies and stopping off to empty the toilet waste, all of the usual things, and then mooring up in the countryside again. That's our plan. Gary's having his coffee. Always need the coffee. Elsan dealt with at the appropriately named Butts Bridge. And now we're just trekking through Lee, where we believe there's a supermarket close to the canal, so we'll stop for some top-up of groceries. I have noticed a lot more cruisers on the Bridgewater Canal. Maybe because it's got a bit more of a river feel to it. Nearly out the other side of Lee, and we are just leaving, as I speak, just leaving the Bridgewater Canal. Going back onto the Canal and River Trust waters, this time onto the Leeds and Liverpool on the Lee branch. And under the rules of the permit, because you have to have a permit to travel on the Bridgewater, we're not allowed back on this canal for 28 days, which we have no intention of coming back this way, so that's completely fine with us. Quick pit stop to Aldi. Just see Pennington Flash down there. We've been moored here for the night. We had a rest day planned anyway, but it was also quite warm, so it was a good place just to chill out. These are some locks just at the nearly at Wigan. Quite tough because they're double locks, and they've also got anti-vandal on them to stop vandals opening it up and losing water. So if I sound out of breath, that's why. And here she comes. I'm grateful that at least this one was set for us because there was a boat that came out not long before, and I only need to open one gate because we're not that big. We'll be able to sneak in. Not going that way today. Instead, heading up towards Liverpool. And another one of these big chunker locks to do. Gary tells me this is Wigan Pier. What's Wigan Pier, Gary?
Well, it's been made famous by George Orwell in his book, The Road to Wigan Pier.
Oh, okay. Doesn't look like a pier.
I don't know if it's that famous.
Pier 1, Pier 2, Pier 3. Got a couple of boats hiding away in there.
Oh,
Clearly an area they're redeveloping. Not actually saying they're unsafe. I just, I don't know, putting your faith in foundations built on a canal bank. Anyway, we're leaving Wigan. Back out into countryside. Passing under a motorway. I don't know which one it is actually. Got one more lock to do today. Turn off to the Rufford Arm, which takes you onto something called the River Link and then up onto the Lancaster Canal. Not something that's very popular, lots of people don't do it. We've been watching a YouTuber who has done it recently and it looks quite interesting. We're not going to do it, but it just shows that there are lots of northern canals that people forget about and that are not as commonly frequented as the southern ones. We got up early this morning intending to leave and get underway before the rain hit, but unfortunately didn't quite make it because the swing bridge that's behind me, when I went to operate it, it wouldn't work and it faltered, so we've had to call the CRT, who have just arrived. We're very excited, and they're going to fix it, we hope. It's actually only been an hour, which isn't too bad. We were worried it might be a bit longer than that, and we don't really have far to go today, but just one of the things that happens on the canal. You wait and you learn a lot of patience, so hopefully we'll be underway soon. We're underway. It was all a bit of a flurry in the end. The CRT folk, 3 of them, came and were spraying things into the bridge and opening things, and then casually wandered up and said, "Did you want to come through?" We're like, yes. So we all untied and are on our way. There's a boat off in the distance behind us. We were chatting to them. They're also going down the Liverpool link on the same day as us. So good to know that there are some familiar faces that we'll see. So fingers crossed the rain holds off for the rest of the morning. We've only got a short cruise to do this morning. I haven't showed you many of them this morning, only that first one, but it's really been a morning of swing bridges. And the funny thing is we've just gone, probably can't quite see it through the other bridge, but the kind of odd thing about them is that every one of them is a little bit different. So for some of them you use the CRT key and it's electronic. For one of them we used the CRT key and then had to push the bridge ourselves. And then for the last one it was what they call a handcuff key, which is an anti-vandal key to unlock the bridge before you move it yourself. So you kind of get to every bridge and just have to figure out, how is this one going to be opened? But there are so many of them since we came through Wigan. There are just large clumps of bridges, so no locks to do, but lots of bridges. And I think we've got one more today to do. Thank you. All good?
Yeah, no, we're good actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's our last swing bridge of the day, we hope. Thank you.
I'm going to pop into a shop by the next bridge,
Ah.
so we'll see you down at Melling.
Yes. See you at
We're
Melling.
somewhere down there.
We've made it to Litherland, which is the last mooring point before you go down to Liverpool, to the Liverpool link. We're expected there at about 1 o'clock tomorrow, so we're mooring here for tonight. We met a lovely couple yesterday at the Broken Bridge, and we're chatting to them. They were also coming down to Liverpool to go in tomorrow, and so we actually moored up last night at Melling with them, and then tonight we've moored up very much with them. I'll show you what I mean at Litherland. So that's where we've come down. That's what I mean. We've moored up right literally on their lines because there were no other spots. It was a few people have spaced out a little bit here, so there wasn't anywhere else to moor. So it's lovely that they've allowed us to do that. So fingers crossed for a quiet night, and then tomorrow into Liverpool. So this is one of the jobs that has to be done. Gary getting down the weed hatch. He's just pulled a plastic bag.
That's it.
That's all. Thought it was a good idea to check, do all the checks before we hit the Liverpool link. That's the check to make sure that the weed hatch has been sealed properly and that our boat is going to sink as soon as we start. That is what you call having all your geese in a row. I think perhaps we've interrupted school, geese school. We're just on our way out of Litherland and on our way to Liverpool. This is the last boat coming out, I think, of Liverpool this morning.
One more.
Is there 5 in total?
5.
Yeah. It really is the journey of 1,000 bridges today. obviously their original numbering system didn't quite cater for the growth of Liverpool, so we got to bridge number 1 and now they're named with letters instead. So I think that was bridge N. In we come to the Stanley Lock flight, the very first lock that's going to take us down to the docks. Apparently that's the biggest brick building in the world, the tobacco warehouse. Just coming through the tunnel after coming out of Stanley Locks. We had fabulous Canal River Trust people helping us, including the famous Sid, who we've heard about a lot. Who's apparently retiring in October.
Oh no!
Yes, that's the consensus. They're talking about locking him in the office and not letting him go. I believe I read somewhere that he was working for British Waterways for, I don't know, 30 years, a long time anyway. Watch out for the bridge, duck your head a bit. The link passes through Stanley Dock with its high wharves and disused warehouses on both sides. All boats should pass beneath that bridge, I assume. This bridge was... Oh, the next one. Yeah, okay. The Regent Bridge BB leading into Collingwood Dock. This is quite spectacular. So we're warned to watch out for these little dangly bits that I'm sure have a technical name that someone can inform me in the comments. And then we keep going towards the clock tower. This is the new Everton Stadium.
Yes.
But as a staunch supporter of Newcastle, I don't care. Entering Sid's ditch. Sid being the lovely bloke that we were just chatting to who was helping us through the locks. Gary is well and truly in his happy place, aren't you?
Loving this. It's cool.
Yeah, so far.
Been wanting to do this for a long time.
Liverpool waters. It's the Isle of Man ferry terminal, and the ferry is in just behind that building. Okay, that was actually a cruise ship that's in there as well. It was behind the ferry terminal.
And the Liver building in front of us.
I believe so. And this is Princess Dock. And we've got a lock to do. Here I'm right next to a buoy, so just bear that in mind. Spinning it. So we've got a lock to do Prince's Dock lock. After the 4 at Stanley, there are 2 inside the docks themselves that you have to do yourself. But apparently one of them is not very big. This might be the one that doesn't have very much of a drop. Very strange being in the middle of all of life and all of the buildings, isn't it? Very strange. Done Prince's Lock, and now we're going into the tunnel. Or the first tunnel. There's a few. Out of one tunnel and into another one. But we get to see the Liver building. This is pretty cool. Let's come out another tunnel. Museum of Liverpool in front of us. Out we come. I think this is Albert Dock, isn't it?
No.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, is that the next? No, that's the next one, isn't it? So weird. I remember walking down here last time we were in Liverpool and seeing boats. Very strange. Right, so I've figured out where we are. We're in Canning Dock, or coming into Canning Dock. No, in Canning Dock. That's the pump house up there. The only word to describe this passage is epic, really, isn't it? This is Albert Dock. Wow. We're heading over there to the Salthouse Dock passage. You might be able to see our neighbours in front of us. We're very lucky that they agreed that we could follow them. They've done this before. And it's, even though we've got some instructions, it's just a little bit more reassuring to know that there are some people who kind of know where they're going. Well, I don't know. So this is Salthouse Dock that we're just coming into, and now we get to find our pontoon for the next few days. I know I've said it a lot on this video already, but this is really cool. We had 4 nights in Liverpool, and Gary took the opportunity to explore the area and take lots of amazing photos. I took the opportunity to jump on a train and head to London to see the killers. So it's our day to leave Liverpool. It's a beautiful morning.
Well, it's not windy, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually flat.
It's
Dead
a
calm.
little bit rainy though.
But there's yellow
Talking
warning.
about the weather again.
Oh, I know, we are too. A yellow warning for rain, whatever that means. It was raining quite hard this morning, but it's actually stopped now. So I'm hopeful that we might get through the link. We're going with one other boat, which is just our neighbour next to us, we think. And we're just waiting for the CRT person to give us the all clear to head off. Yeah.
I'm sure we can hopefully get the head all clear or not.
busy morning in Salthouse Dock, and it's not for boats. We've got a swimmer, we've got some rowers, a few more fun obstacles to avoid. We're in the second lock at Stanley Lock. I don't normally get to be on the boat, but we have the esteemed company of Sid, the legendary volunteer who hitched a lift with us from Prince's Lock back to here, and he assured me that there were volunteers on and that I was free to stay on the boat this time, so I get the quite different perspective of being in here. Farewell, Liverpool. Where shall we head next?